You're the boss, right? There's this bag I really want that's coming out soon. Buy it for me. You make plenty of money, so there's no need to be stingy. Nadia always asks me for things. Unbelievably, she even uses her son to harass me. Her rude attitude always leaves me frustrated. Now one day she called me. Sorry, but your precious $10 million yacht sank in the ocean. She bragged as if she had planned it all along. But the yacht she sank was... My name is Rita. I'm 49 years old and live with my husband, Brett, and our son, Tom. We have an unusual job. We operate yachts because we took over my father-in-law's business after he passed away from an illness a few years ago. Brett took over as he had no siblings, and my mother-in-law had also passed away years earlier. I met my husband through the yacht business. A friend and I wanted to see the beautiful sea, so we took a yacht and he was our driver. I fell for him at first sight, watching him work so hard. We started dating and eventually got married. I loved yachting too, so despite having no experience, I begged him to let him join the business. Brett handles the main management, but I work as a kind of vice president. It was tough at first, but now I've gotten the hang of it. I think I owe a lot to Brett and my colleague Katie for helping me get this far. Katie works at a different marina, so we don't always work together, but we often meet and talk about various things. Like me, she learned yachting from scratch, so we could share our concerns and support each other. We have a great relationship, and sometimes go out for meals with Brett. I was really happy and fulfilled every day. While we were busy with work, we were also blessed with a child. Our son, Tom, is growing up well and now goes to daycare. This was the peak of happiness. However, I met someone during this time. Rita, what kind of bag do you carry? Since your husband makes good money, it must be a brand name, right? I'm so jealous, said Nadia, a mom friend from daycare. At first, I didn't interact with her much, just recognizing her as a flashy neighbor. But once she found out we ran a business, she started getting closer, prying into our private life in an unpleasant way. Now she talks to me every time I pick up Tom from daycare. I found her difficult to deal with, but didn't want to argue. I wanted to avoid trouble that could make things difficult for Tom, so I chose my words carefully when talking to her. I don't have anything that fancy. Just bags you can find anywhere. My husband and I decided not to waste money and to save instead, I told her. But I heard the yachts you handle are worth around $10 million each, right? And you have several of them. Nadia responded. That's true, but... I began, but she cut me off. Then it's even more of a waste. You're so rich, so there's no need to be stingy. Just saving money isn't good for the economy or the country. I was taken aback. My not spending money wouldn't affect the entire country. While I was still in shock, she continued. Oh? Maybe you're not materialistic? Then buy the bag for me. There's a new one coming out, and I'm tired of the design of my old one. We're not as rich as you think. Sorry, but I need to go home now. I have to prepare dinner for my son. I replied, trying to end the conversation. Rich people always look down on poor people. Rita, you're really awful. She yelled loudly, drawing the attention of other moms. She smirked, satisfied with the scene she had caused. You don't understand how we feel. We live in different worlds. she said as she walked away. She probably wanted to lower my reputation among the other moms. I also knew she had recently bought a new bag, one that sold out quickly because it was so popular. Another day, while working, I got a call from the daycare. They urgently needed me to come, so I rushed out, my heart pounding with worry. Has something happened to Tom? When I arrived, I found Tom crying with Nadia and her son, Nathan.
Oh, Rita, you're finally here.
Explain to the teacher that my child isn't at fault, Nadia demanded. What happened? I asked the teacher, who explained that Nathan had been rummaging through Tom's backpack, stealing his pencils, erasers, and handkerchief. Tom repeatedly asked for his things back, but Nathan ignored him. When the teacher intervened, she couldn't resolve the issue, so she called in both mothers. I tried to calm Nathan. These belong to Tom. Could you give them back? He really needs them. Nathan wouldn't meet my eyes.
But Mom said it's okay to take Tom's stuff. She said it's fine because Tom's dad is an important person,
Nathan explained.
That's right. You're a good boy for following my instructions. It's better to give things to someone who needs them rather than hoarding them. I'm sure Tom is happy to share.
Nadia praised her son, patting his head. How could she think Tom was happy about this? Talking to her wouldn't help, so I addressed Nathan directly. If we have extra, it's fine to share and help those in need. But look at Tom now. Does he seem happy? Tom was still crying. Nathan stayed silent. Do you really need those pencils and handkerchief? If you need them that badly, we'll lend them to you. But you don't, do you?
No,
Nathan finally admitted. Then it would make us happy if you returned them to Tom. Wouldn't you be surprised if someone suddenly took your things?
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, Tom.
Nathan apologized, returning the items. Tom stopped crying, and the teacher looked relieved. Nadia was the only one still displeased. I sighed deeply. Nathan wasn't to blame. He had just followed his mother's words. I couldn't believe she would tell a child such things. After the teacher reprimanded her, Nadia said,
I'm sorry. Rita, I had no idea you're so good with kids. I was so surprised.
Why would you involve your son in this? You told Nathan to do it, didn't you?
Ugh, that's a harsh way to put it. It's education. I don't want anyone criticizing our parenting methods. I just mentioned it casually, thinking it would be best for everyone. As business owners, you can easily replace things. Anyway, I'm busy, she said, leaving the daycare. I had work and household chores too, and didn't have time for this nonsense. A few weeks later, she showed up at our house. Hi, I smelled something good and decided to drop by. Are you having steak? Share some with me, she said, walking in uninvited. This was the first time we'd talked since the daycare incident. I couldn't believe she acted like nothing happened and just walked into my house. I hadn't even invited her in. Nadia, please don't. I'm busy preparing dinner and the house is messy, I said, trying to be polite. She looked annoyed. What? You can't share with us commoners? She snapped. No, it's not that. I only prepared enough for the three of us, so there's not enough. What difference does one more person make? If there's not enough, you can go without. If you eat too much, you'll get middle-aged spread, and your husband might leave you, she retorted. Why did I have to adjust the meal portions for her? But she wasn't leaving, so I reluctantly shared my steak with her. She sat at the table, satisfied, but didn't touch the food. Aren't you going to eat? Is this it? I thought you'd put truffles on the steak. We don't have anything like that, I replied, and she looked genuinely shocked. You don't? How can that be? A business owner should always have them on hand. This simple steak isn't enough. Next time, make sure you have truffles, she demanded, angrily. I had given up my meal for her. If I had truffles, I'd give them to Brett or Tom, not her. About 30 minutes later, my husband came home from work.
I'm back. Was someone here?
Yeah, Nadia from daycare was here. You know, my mom friend.
I see. What's this? Was she going to eat this?
He asked, pointing to the steak on the table. I quickly lied. No, I was just really hungry today and thought I'd eat early, but then decided to wait for you, I said.
I see. I'll go change,
he said and headed to his room. Even though we worked the same job, he's much busier than I am. I couldn't bother him with something so trivial. That's why I couldn't tell him the truth. After he changed, he came back and we started having dinner together. Then he said something unexpected.
By the way, I think I saw Nadia while I was working the other day. She was just wandering around.
Hearing this sent chills down my spine. I hadn't told her where we worked to avoid any trouble. Besides, there was no need to tell her. Was it really Nadia? I never told her where you work.
I thought maybe you mentioned it while picking up Tom. I'm pretty sure it was her, though. I just saw her briefly and nothing happened, so it's no big deal.
Then he started eating his steak. It might have been a small thing, but something about it bothered me. I hoped it was nothing. The following Sunday, when work had settled down, we decided to go out as a family. We shopped at the mall and ended the day with a cruise. The sea looks so different when you're not working. Tom was happy, and it turned out to be a great day. While I was reflecting on this, Nadia called. I didn't want our family time to be interrupted, so I ignored her calls, but she kept calling.
It's okay. You can answer it. I'll watch Tom.
Since he offered, I reluctantly answered the call. Rita, where are you? You're at home, right? No, I'm not home. Did you need something? Oh, really? I have something to tell you. The $10 million yacht sank. I'm sorry. She said it with a smirk. What are you talking about? We're on a cruise right now. What? Her voice changed to a loud shout. I'm not sure what you're up to, but can you tell me where you are? We went to the location she mentioned and found a half-sunken yacht nearby. It looked like the floor had a hole and water had leaked in. Wait, what's going on? You said you were on a cruise. Isn't this your workplace? No, this is not our location. It was Katie's workplace. I called Katie immediately. What are you talking about? I saw your husband driving this yacht. He was so skilled, there's no way I'm mistaken. The color is the same too. Brett then sighed and said,
So it was you I saw that day. I was just checking things out. I come by regularly to ensure the yachts are maintained. That's probably when you saw me.
Nadia was speechless, her mouth hanging open, still not grasping the situation. At that moment, Katie arrived. Without acknowledging us, she checked the yacht's condition and then yelled at Nadia. What have you done? I just cleaned it and was looking forward to the next cruise. I had never seen her so angry. She loved the yacht like it was her own child. Seeing Katie's anger, Nadia started making excuses. It wasn't me. I just happened to pass by and saw the yacht sinking. I thought it was Rita, so I called her. I was just doing the right thing. Do you think that excuse will work? The surveillance cameras will show you're lying. You need to pay for this. Surveillance cameras? She stumbled, and then, to my surprise, she turned to me for help. Rita, we're friends, right? We've shared so many stories, and you've even let me into your home. I think we're close friends. Please, help me out here. Desperately she pleaded, but I coldly responded. You're the only one who thinks that. You came here because you thought this was our marina. You saw Brett and assumed we worked here. You planned to destroy it from the beginning, didn't you? She screamed. You're infuriating. Just because you're rich, you think you can do whatever you want. I'll destroy all your yachts. She ran towards the marina, but then we heard sirens.
This is the police. Stop and stay where you are. You can't escape.
Seeing the police, she gave up and stopped moving. Brett had called them while we were talking. Nadia was quickly taken away by the police. She had to fully compensate for the sunk yacht. Since she wasn't working, she'd have to start working hard. News of this incident spread quickly. About a month later, her family moved away, unable to stay in the area. I heard from mutual mom friends that she was heading towards divorce. It was inevitable after what she did. After the incident, Brett scolded me a bit.
I understand you're busy and don't want to worry me, but you need to tell me things. I'm worried about you too. If something happens, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You don't need to apologize. I'm sorry for not being more attentive.
I felt glad to be married to him. I truly felt our relationship had deepened. Another positive outcome was that moms started bringing their kids to see the yachts after hearing about it. They all said, "This is fun. We want to come back." Thanks to this, the marina became lively and work became more enjoyable. We planned to reschedule the family cruise that was interrupted by Nadia's incident.